Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel and welcome also to our next lesson. Okay, so in previous lesson we have get into the next chapter, chapter 4, which is about OSH, occupational safety and health. And where we have discussed on 4.1, introduction to OSH, where we look at number one, if you still remember, we have looked at the importance of OSH. So one of them is to ensure safety and welfare of workers, employers, and any people who are around the occupational place or location. In our case, related to engineering work. All right. The next thing is we have looked at the list of authorities that involved with OSH. One of them we have is bomber or fire and rescue department. Okay, so within that you should be able to what we call to discuss. So to discuss all these authorities, it does not just mean that you have to be able to explain them. You should also be able to compare all of them. Okay, if I ask you, we have DOSH, and NIOSH. So if the question can come out like, what's the difference between DOSH and NIOSH? So you should be able to explain them. So of course, we know number one that we know that DOSH is like the enforcement of legislation. This is the people or the organization. Actually, it's the department within dan sumber kemanusiaan, right? Human Resource Ministry. Here, what they do is they enforce the legislation, perundangan. Yang memastikan berlakunya perundangan tersebut. Okay, jika berlaku pelanggaran, mereka akan mengambil tindakan according to the legislation that have been made. Where this is undang-undang. Where for NIOSH, we are going to look at it's a part of DOSH. It assists, it is a sidekick for DOSH. So if DOSH is enforcement, NIOSH is providing training courses, adequate programs. Okay, so I think the right word is to educate. Okay, educate, giving campaign, make campaigns, provide training, and so on, related to all this legislation. And then also they also made this research, okay, to advance the check whether the legislation, all these statutory statement and whatsoever are according to the recent or to the latest understanding regarding the occupational safety and health. So that's now so those are the kind of question that can come out if the sub-learning outcomes in 4.1 to discuss authorities regarding to OSH. In this video today, we're going to continue our discussion about OSH, where we are going to look at the basic principles of OSH. So the question is, okay, if we have a company or you see some company and they insist or they say that, okay, their company abide with OSH or something like, okay, syarikat saya ada OSH. It's something as simple as that. So you're gonna ask them, you want to ask them, okay, how can you say that you are having OSH you are practicing OSH in your company? So what are the things that we are going to look at? So we are going to look at the basic principle of OSH. So today we're going to look at the 6 basic principles. When I say 6 basic principles, there are more than this. There are advanced principles of OSH, but we're just going to look at the 6 basic principles of OSH. So by the learning outcome from this lesson today, okay, so you should be able to describe all of the 6 basic principles of OSH according to International Labour Organization, ILO. So you might want to do a little bit Google and find out what is ILO actually. So what the level of this ILO? National, international. So please look at them. So what they do, you need to find them. Just to give you some understanding. All of these things, principles, anything that related to engineering, they are not just made made up by the, meritocracy. These are the things that we are taking from the real organization, either globally, or either from a national level of bodies. Then we share with you the knowledge. So when you become engineers one day, you are familiar with all these things. Okay, so is another thing that I want you to know is it is so important for you to understand the OSH, okay, especially in basic principle of OSH, because one day you are going to become workers, or maybe after that you are going to have your own business. You are going to be employer. So as employees and as employer, it is important for you to understand about OSH, because you are a part of OSH. It's not just about what you have to do. Okay, aku kena buat macam ni barulah dia ikut OSH. I have to make sure I am safe. It's not just about that. Okay, it is more than that, because it involves people that rely on you as well. So if you don't understand about OSH, what are the policy, what are the principle of OSH, when one day you are hit by a certain accident whatsoever, I hope not, nauzubillah min zalik, but I'm just saying that if something happened to you, something to happen to your family, such as, okay, like your parents are working at their working place and something happened to them. So if they don't understand, and the family members that do not understand about OSH, so they do not know what their rights. Something like, apa yang saya boleh claim kalau saya sakit, berapa banyak cuti yang saya boleh dapat. Okay, so if the company doesn't provide you with adequate breaks, okay, waktu rehat, and then waktu cuti, you have the right to voice out, and to whom you are going to make the complaint. Apa? So if you don't understand about DOSH, what sort of the things that you could expect, you should expect from you would expect to get from any company you are working with. Okay, if you don't understand about OSH, you don't know. Okay, so it is important for you to understand the basic principle of OSH. Okay, so let's continue. So the introduction, right? So the goal. So I have just stated before. The goal of occupational safety and health programs include to foster a safe and healthy working environment. So this is the idea. You want to have a safe and health working environment. You don't want to work in a place that is not safe for you, okay, and not healthy for you. Because as I said before, you have people that rely on you. Even yourself, you rely on you. You have people that love you. So if something bad happens to you, just because you want to get a bit extra money, but it affect yourself it affect your safety and your health, and then it's not worth it. So also, of course, you want to work at a place that you feel worth to work at. Okay, so it should be safe and healthy. Okay, so OSH may also protect. So as I said, it protect co-workers, family members, employer, customers, and many others. So in case of employers, there are things yang, when you have provide everything, you want to see yourself as employers. Awak dah buat, you are the employer, you are the boss. Okay, so your company have provide everything that related to OSH, and then an accident occur. Okay, so this is the case that accident occur, and then one of your worker died. Okay, so one worker, okay, died. So now when the DOSH or NIOSH and any authorities that make investigation and find out that you have provide everything, you have provide enough OSH, but the accidents occur, so then it's alright. Your license to continue your company, it can still going on. You can still practice what you are doing. But in the case that you don't have OSH, you don't understand about OSH, and then you're not following some aspect of OSH, you don't have it in your company, and then accident occur. Even though you can say that this accident does not relate because of the kecuaian of the pekerja. Dia orang gurau-gurau, dia orang geletek-geletek, dia orang tolak-tolak, dia jatuh. But at the end of the day, you as the employer, the person in charge, you're going to still be questioned. You're going to be checked by the OSH. Do you have all the standard, all the basic principle of OSH in your company? So if there is one or two, or even though just a simple thing that we don't have in OSH, and then your company still gonna be responsible gonna be take into accountability of this incident here. So something like you cannot work, you cannot continue your license being ditarik balik or being cut off into certain period. Okay, so and you're gonna get some fine. So it is also to protect you. Okay, and that is the case of money. What about in the case of your own safety? So if like you are the boss of the company and then you have this kilang, you have this factory, and then you are working in your office and whatsoever, and some workers make some mistake, okay, because they don't understand the OSH. Okay, what are the safety they have, they're not following the OSH, and then something happened to the factory and it's blown up, meletup. You are within that area, awak dalam office, you don't know nothing, you know nothing, and then something happened, pump, you are a part of the accident. Okay, so it is so important for you to understand, okay, about OSH, right? Um, okay, so these are the kind of at risk workers without appropriate safety equipment. So you see, these people that are working at tall building and they are not, I cannot see any harnessing, like harnessing the rope tali yang ikat mereka dan sebagainya. So they don't have it. So this is dangerous. Okay, of course it's dangerous for them. But as I said before, you are as worker, or let's say you are the co-workers or rakan sekerja, you're gonna feel bad. Okay, if something happened to them, that's number one. If you are the employers, okay, investigation made and gonna check, gonna trouble everybody. Ini akan menyusahkan orang lain. So not just about them, but others as well. And if something happen, they drop down. Kita minta lah kalau kata dia jatuh. And if somebody down there, okay, then jatuh pada orang lain pula, and then there's another issue. Okay, that is in term of physical impact. Benda yang kita nampak, benda yang sakitkan orang, merosakkan harta benda. What about the mental? Okay, the mental effect of them being falling down. Kalau berlaku masalah kat mereka ni, orang pekerja-pekerja lain akan trauma, takut. So some of them might not just continue their working. Effect dia punya mental, dia orang teringat-ingat. So this is so bad for any company. Okay, so you can see this guy here. His arm ripped off at the shoulder, and his leg broken without any compensation. So this guy here, nampak ni, dia tak ada tangan. Dan kaki dia broken. Tapi tak dapat compensation. Kenapa? So this must be, dia dah bekerja, dia sign contract yang tak betul. Dalam tu tak ada dia punya right. So dia tak dapat compensation. That's another thing. Okay. Tak boleh bekerja lepas ni. Orang pula kena tanggung dia. Okay. Not get any compensation. How about the treatment? Perubatan dia, kos-kos semua tu. So setiap kemalangan dianggap menjadi satu tragedi. So again, kemalangan berlaku setiap hari mengakibatkan kejahatan, malah kehilangan nyawa. Setiap hari, every day. So even if you still feel this is just this is another topic, right, let's just move on with it and just finish this lesson. Okay, I want you to understand it. The impact of OSH is so big. Okay, menyebabkan nyawa, kehilangan tangan, kehilangan kaki, kecacatan kekal, that the impact is very huge. Okay, akan impact ramai orang. Tak jadi tak apa, tapi kalau jadi, so I want you to really pay attention and really feel this knowledge, not just for the sake of your examination, UPS coming up. Okay, of course we want that. You want to be excellent at your UPS PM, your matriculation level, your UPS, but we want to understand that this is not just a simple knowledge. This is very big. One day, if you are working, kalau awak dah bekerja, okay, and then awak nak cari balik knowledge pasal ni, okay, awak nak cari balik, you gonna pay, you have to pay for this. Awak kena join kursus, kena bayar. Kursus yang melibatkan ribu-ribu ringgit. Okay, right, so these are the 6 basic principles of OSH, okay, according to International Labour Organization. Okay, so number 1 is workers' rights, number 2 OSH policies, number 3 information, promotion, education, and enforcement of policy. So a company that have OSH in them, okay, they must have at least these 6 here. They have workers' right, they have OSH policies, they have information, they have promotion, they have education, and enforcement policy, where I want to help you to remember all of this by remembering WOIPEE. Right? So wiper. Okay, wiper. So remember that. Okay, what's the basic principle of OSH policy? Dengar soalan tu, wiper. Okay, you remember that, wiper. Okay, sounds good. Alright. So workers' right. So all workers have rights. So kena ingat, awak setiap pekerja ni ada right dia masing-masing, ada hak masing-masing. Workers and as well as employers, government must ensure that these rights are protected and must try to establish and maintain decent working condition and a decent working environment. So mesti kena ada workers right dan mesti dipatuhi. Mesti kena ada dan mesti dipatuhi. Mesti ada dia punya condition dia. Okay, so this is more specific. The work should take. Okay, this is number one. This is the main principle. This is the basic. The basic right. So the first right for workers that you should be working. You should be able to work in a safe and healthy working environment. Okay, number one. Number two. Okay, condition of work should be consistent with workers' well-being and human dignity. Okay, so condition of working, awak bekerja tu sesuai dengan not just safe dengan healthy, tapi mesti sesuai dengan kesejahteraan pekerja dan maruah. Okay, let's say the boss say to you, okay, the employer say to you, okay, kalau kau tak jilat aku punya kasut, aku tak akan bagi gaji kau, aku akan pecat kau. So you can report that to DOSH or any authorities. Kita tahu ini kesalahan. Kenapa? Dia tidak mementingkan, meletakkan tingginya maruah manusia. So this is number two. So not just about safety and healthy environment, but safe and healthy environment, but also workers' well-being and human dignity. Okay, workers' well-being. Okay, ni saya sebut sikit lah. Okay, workers' well-being. Well-being. Ini contohnya apa? Contohnya cuti. Tak diberi cuti. Awak sakit, suruh paksa kat kerja. Okay, awak tak sihat kan? Okay, cuti lah, bekerja. If one day you are married, okay, you have your wife pregnant, okay, nak bersalin, tak bagi awak cuti. So this not according to workers' well-being. So these are the kind of things. Kerja patutnya 8 ke 9 jam je paling banyak pun, tapi disuruh kerja 24 jam. Kerja patutnya Sabtu Ahad tak ada kerja, tapi awak terpaksa kena kerja juga. Dipaksa. Okay, out of your voluntary will. Kalau tak kerja Sabtu Ahad, awak akan dianggap tak bagi, awak akan dianggap ponteng dan sebagainya. So ini ikut well-being. So this, you should know your right here. You have the right. Okay, so you should know that. Work should offer real possibilities of personal achievement. So tengok ni, ini yang penting juga ni. Work should possibility of personal achievement, self-fulfillment and service to society. Okay, maksud kat sini, awak bekerja. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Awak bekerja setiap tahun. Okay, the first year you are working, gaji awak 2,000 contoh. And imagine that the next year you kerja lagi, gaji awak masih lagi 2,000. Kerja awak 2,000 lagi. Tahun keempat 2,000 lagi. Sampai awak mati gaji awak 2,000 lagi. Is that according to personal achievement? No. You don't feel any achievement. So a part of your workers right, ialah kenaikan gaji. Yes, it is. Ada. Okay. Dan kalau kat swasta, dalam polisi mereka even mention ada bonus lagi. Okay, so itu biasalah. Macam kerajaan pula ada kenaikan gaji. Tak. Okay, mungkin ada tahun-tahun tak naik gaji kalau swasta. Kalau swasta, private company, mungkin ada keadaan tertentu bila business tak cantik, kan gaji tiada. Tapi adalah. So dalam in Malaysia itself kita ada minimum wage, minimum gaji berapa? Because ILO. Itu right. Okay. What else? Okay, dia boleh menyumbang. Kita benarkan dia menyumbang. Okay, katakan awak kata we teach them, so your company, awak ada work employers, awak provide training, awak ajar buat welding dalam air. So katakan dalam kerja boleh, awak kata kat dia, okay, ingat you tak boleh apply ni ilmu ni saya yang hantar awak khusus. So you cannot apply this to dalam hidup awak, dalam bantu orang kampung ke. No, this is just for your work. Tak boleh. So you should be able to allow self-fulfillment and service to society. Okay, itu pandangan tentang workers right here. So benda ni kena ada. So kalau nak tahu apa workers right awak dalam company tu ada tak workers right? Okay, one of the basic principle is workers right. So company tu ada tak workers right? Awak check ni. Ada tak ini? Ada tak ini? Ada tak ini? Okay. The next thing is OSH policy. WIPER. W, workers right. And then O is OSH policies. Okay. Must be established and enforced. So number one, kena ada OSH policy. Check company tu ada tak OSH policy dia? Apa dia? Find out first. Ada tak OSH policy? Ada. Mana? Tengok. So dia mesti ada OSH policy. Kalau tak ada, then you cannot say that this company ada OSH. Awak nak kerja ni, nak buat syarikat sendiri, ada tak OSH? Kalau tak ada polisi, tak boleh. So first of all, you have to understand what is policy. Ramai pelajar, many students get confused policy dengan rule. rule undang-undang. Undang-undang is specific. If you don't do this, you're gonna get this. If you do this, okay, that's fine. So dia memang set of rule, memang standard. Policy is the making of that rule. What are the principle? Apakah falsafah ataupun prinsip-prinsip yang digunakan untuk menghidupkan undang-undang tersebut, ataupun when you make decision in your company, you must consider this policy. So dia adalah consideration, principle. Macam awak kalau dari segi konteks manusiawi, an individual, seorang manusia, as one individual, awak kata aku ada prinsip hidup aku. So contohnya kalau aku cakap aku buat. So tak kisahlah awak cakap pasal apa pun. So undang-undang awak contohnya awak kata, okay, saya akan cakap pasal makan, bangun tidur mesti awak setiap sebelum subuh. Jadi awak cakap macam tu kat orang, itu awak punya undang-undang. Tapi awak punya polisi, awak punya prinsip, awak cakap kalau cakap aku buat. So awak buat. So maknanya dia apply to everything. Something like that. So dalam polisi adalah prinsip macam tu, tapi dia dalam konteks organisation. Tadi individual, tapi ini prinsip dalam konteks organisation, kita panggil polisi. That's it. Benda yang sama saja awak guna dalam hidup awak, semua kita gunakan untuk organisation level, dia panggil polisi. So you have to be policy. So dia kena establish and enforce. Okay, provide consultation, mana boleh bincang employer dengan worker. Okay, ada prevention and protection. Dalam tu mesti sebut ada prevention and protection. Okay, employer must prefer safety and health at work. So employer ni mesti ada bagi tahu, policy yang employer create ni untuk company tersebut must have prepared something for safety and health of work employees and organisation. Okay, an OSH policy should demonstrate company concerns, commitment, okay, attempts, okay, to ensure safety and health. Not just like for the sake of ada OSH policy. No, they must really mean it. Mesti bermaksudkannya. Memang betul-betul maksud yang dia orang really concerned about safety. Okay. And then as a basis of developing and implementing programs for security safety and health at workplace. Okay, so dia as basis. So policy ni jelas satu asas kepada apa saja program-program yang buat mesti ada kaitan dengan OSH policy. Alright, so let's okay, another thing that I think is important, beside it must be established and must be implemented here. Number one, it must be, okay, let's do here. Must be established. It also must be implemented, enforced, diwujudkan, diamalkan, okay, dikerahkan. And another thing that I think is very important to mention here, even though it sounds very simple thing to do, to effectively communicate to all parties concerned. Okay, let me ask you, that time when you are studying at schools, and then awak buat kerja makmal, do you know that there are certain policy, safety, whatsoever lah, regarding that makmal yang awak gunakan tu? Okay, do you know them? Okay, do you understand them? Do you know what your rights, what is not your rights, what are the things that you can do, you shouldn't do? Okay, faham tak? So kalau awak tak faham ataupun awak tak pasti, means that the communication sebenarnya tak sampai pada awak. Kenapa awak kena tahu? Saya student je, saya pelajar je masa tu, should I know? Kan lecturer ada, cikgu ada kan, cikgu akan pastikan. No, because you are the, dalam kes tu you are the employee. Awak ialah orang yang terdedah kepada persekitaran tersebut. So tak salah, awak tak tahu tak salah. Salahnya ialah kenapa awak tak tahu. So maybe the school or the people yang responsible for the policies for the OSH in the laboratory, they did not tell you, did not make you understand. Okay, itu perkara yang penting sebenarnya. Okay, sebab kalau katakan berlaku pada awak satu masalah, something happen to you, accident ke, awak terjatuh ke, awak terlincir ke, awak you use the equipment, awak cedera, and then the first thing they're gonna ask you, do you know about the rule? Do you understand about the rule? Does anyone tell you about the rule? Does anyone communicate to you about the rule, about the safety rule and regulation? And then kalau you kata tak ada, memang tak ada, and then you can prove that there is no documentation bagi tahu yang membuktikan ada rakaman ke, ambil gambar ke, tak ada bagi tahu yang you don't give, you are not given explanation about the safety and health regulation dekat tempat tu, kan dia ambil tindakan kepada awak, tapi kepada orang yang bertanggungjawab untuk menyampaikan, untuk communicate effectively to you about OSH. Okay, right. So here is some policy statement making. So what should be done here? So management commitment to protect. So mesti ada dalam ni. I should mention the policy statement can be brief. Boleh jadi ringkas, tapi kena ada mention apa commitment management, apa objective program, apa dan sebagainya. So ini contoh terus, saya terus bagi example terus. So these are the example. Safety of every employee. Okay. So the management is vitally interested in the health and safety of every employee. Jadi falsafah dia, the policy dia mesti bagi tahu company akan ambil berat tentang keselamatan setiap pekerja. Okay. Right. Apa lagi? We must ensure that health and safety of our workforce is maintained at all times. Okay. To achieve this goal, we should endeavour to develop, kena sungguh-sungguh ni, develop, implement, evaluate health. Okay. So, ini saya boleh baca nanti. But one of the thing yang saya bagi contoh yang reality, some places that I've been to, and one of the thing dia mention ialah, I think ada dalam juga kot. Okay, one of the thing it says that all, dia kata policy dia ialah all workers, all workers are ataupun should be should be provided with PPE, professional protective equipment, tak silap saya, personal protective equipment, accordingly. So depends on what work you are doing. So you ada your own PPE. Kalau orang melibatkan benda-benda yang menghakis kat cederaan tangan, dia mungkin pakai sarung tangan. Kalau bahayakan mata, dia akan pakai mata. So all workers yang involved ni should be provided by PPE. So this is the policies. So PPE apa nak pakai, nanti tu dalam undang-undang lah. Those are within the rule. Contoh lagi, all workers should be provided with adequate training. Ini PPE tadi kan, adequate training. Dia ada training dia. So training tentang apa? Tentang keselamatan lah. Okay. Last time I show you a video about safety training when you are riding helicopter for people that are working offshore. Yes, that is an example. Itu policy dia. Training apa? Itu dia punya itu lebih detail. Policy is just telling that effective and adequate training. Not just adequate, effective. Dia kena pastikan yang program tu, yang training yang dia provide tu yang efektif. So bukan main-main buat je. So tengok YouTube nanti tak, dia kena provide proper training. So those are example of OSH policy. Okay, right. So the next thing we're going to look at information. Alright. So you can read this in more detail. But basically the idea is, okay, now you know the workers, right? You know the OSH policies. Okay. The next thing is to give information. Okay, so number one, yang biasanya dalam konteks OSH ni, in term of engineering workplace, dalam kerja-kerja ataupun tempat kerja seorang engineer, so biasanya yang kita akan tengok ialah there are information on hazards. Okay, still remember hazard tu apa? Hazard tu benda yang boleh membahayakan kita. Okay, information on surveillance of workplace. Okay, siapa yang akan bantau, monitoring compliance with policy and practice. Okay, and stability enforcement. Okay, so all this information ni dapat daripada mana? So biasanya signage. Biasanya yang kita cakap ni dalam konteks engineering, signage. So contoh signage yang biasa, we are always, I think we are plenty times we have seen this again and again. This signage. Sometimes dia gunakan tape, emergency tape, safety tape. Okay, ada pula tentang macam ni, hard must be worn, hard hat must be worn, protective footwear must be worn. Okay, so safety manual. So all this information must be available. Okay, and immediately can be easily understand, immediately get the attention. Macam ni, nampak ni, caution, kita tahu ni bahaya, kita akan baca. So one of the OSH principle you should be in within a company ialah information. Ialah safety board ke, signboard ke, signage ke, ada tampal-tampal ke, stiker ke. So these are the things must be there. Right, so the next thing we're gonna have is promotion. So promotion ni apa? So this we have tadi kita ada why, yang kita look at apa. Okay, so promotion is about providing providing certain aspect to your workers ataupun to the employees, compensation, rehabilitation, creative services, okay, are available. Rehabilitation quality services must be available to workers who suffer occupational injuries, accident at workplace. Di dalam promotion ni, antaranya ialah dipanggil compensation. So please make sure, this is so important. Make sure when you are working, you understand that this company or the company that you are working with ada promotion ni. Ada, contohnya kalau awak cedera sebabkan cedera semasa bekerja, you're gonna get compensation. At least treatment billing treatment. At least. Okay? Kalau ada insurans lagi bagus. Okay? So besides that, kita ada juga dalam promotion ni, itu contohlah. Dia nak promote, masa dalam company tu dia promote, nampak dia meletakkan tingginya safety. So antaranya lah. And the next thing, yang lebih direct, iaitu advertisement, seminar course, okay, poster. Ni lebih pada promotion yang sebenar lah, macam nak campaign. Okay, OSHA campaign. Okay, so I just highlight ya, this one is OSHA, bukan OSH nanti awak akan tengok apa beza OSH dengan OSHA. Benda yang sama, cuma OSHA ni ada something yang lebih ni. Okay, so kita tengok apa A tu. Tapi that's the next thing we're gonna do. But to continue, dia macam information, tapi dalam keadaan yang lebih promoting, menggalakkan, encouraging, mengingatkan, memberi kesedaran pada kita. Okay. Right, so biasanya dalam campaign addresses high risk sectors. Okay, if you are working welding boleh meletup gas welding tu. So when you are working construction, you are working at high rise building. Okay, so there's another thing lah. Okay, melibatkan benda-benda ni, benda boleh jatuh, awak boleh tergelincir, besi boleh tertusuk besi. So there are so many hazards within construction field. Okay, and that's about promotion. And then we have education. So it sounds like information lebih pada signage, information lebih pada promoting, okay? And education is more about training, okay? Making people understand, okay? Promotion is about awareness. Education is about make sure that everybody that involved with certain work understand what are the hazards within that working activities, and then also what they should do to prevent them. Okay, so this is very vital education. If you don't understand about your workplace dangerous hazards, so payahlah. So workers, employer and competent authorities have certain duties and obligation. Okay, ada certain. Okay, workers ada obligation dia, employers ada obligation dia, competent authorities ada obligation dia. So the competent ni mesti diwujudkan. Competency. Okay, so let me ask you, are you competent dalam bidang, contoh dalam bidang manual drawing? Okay, ataupun awak competent tak dalam AutoCAD? Awak mahir tak? Competent ni mahir. Are you have good competency in AutoCAD? So some people gonna say yes, some people gonna say no. Okay, if those people yang say no, okay, macam mana awak nak dapat kompetensi tu? Ke menilai lahir ni setiap orang dah ada label, okay, dia ni competent AutoCAD, dia ni tak competent. Gitu, people yang competent tu sebab dia dah label. Dari lahir memang dia ada bakat, memang dia bukan terror AutoCAD. Tidak So as human, competency is something can be established, can be built. This is something that can be built. Boleh dibina, boleh diwujudkan, dipupuk. Okay, so again, competent authorities mesti dibina, mesti dipupuk, mesti So macam mana? So mesti through education. Okay, awak mesti terkejut. Ni kan pekerja saja kena ada education about safety? No. Okay, let me give you an example. So one of the thing yang dalam pekerjaan engineering ni, iaitu berlakunya inspection regarding safety. So dia akan inspect, dia akan check ikut tak spec, ikut tak. So those people who make the inspection, kalau they are not competent, do you think they really inspect effectively, efficiently? Betul-betul tak dia orang tengok? Betul tak dia orang faham apa tak nak inspect? Ke dia orang main agak-agak je? So people yang main agak-agak ni bahaya. Safety is not something that you can just like get I believe in my instinct, saya ikut naluri saja. No, safety is something yang is not worthy untuk awak mengikut naluri awak saja. Mesti difahami, mesti ada basis of kata orang pegangan yang jelas lah. Kenapa awak kena ikut ni, kenapa tak ikut ni? Sebab menyebabkan safety. Kalau terjadi apa-apa, if you make this is just like a joke, like a risk, kalau berlaku kematian, kecederaan kekal, we cannot return back to the past. Tak boleh. So, that is education. Semua benda ni, semua workers, employees, semua kena ada education. Okay? So, the idea is to communicate, periodically review and update qualification have safety policies. So, example of education, effective training. Training is needed for new workers, new job and education system. Okay. So, tu contoh saya sebut tadi lah. And the last, E, kita dah ada wiper. Now, kita ada another E. Okay, enforcement of policy. Tadi kita ada OSH policies. Now, kita ada policy, enforcement of policy. So, the idea of enforcement, okay, you should know lah. A basic thing, enforcement. Okay, imagine that you have your brother ke your younger sister. Then you kata, okay, mas bilik ni, kalau tak siap, kena. So, how you enforce that instruction? So, kau buat, macam mana awak tahu? Ni bilik awak kan, sepah, adik awak sepah kan. Terabur sana, terabur sini. And then adik awak sepah kan, awak nampak, awak kata, lagi 10 minit tak siap. Kena kau? Siap. Awak buat rotan. Okay? So, how you enforce this, your brother ke younger sister, contoh lah kan. Garang tu kakak abang ni kalau tak siap ni apa? Kita beritakan. So, how you enforce? Number one, kalau dia tak siap, dalam 10 minit tak siap, apa buat? Okay, so you have to enforce. Number one, you have to be stern. Okay, the rule must be enforced. Mesti dibuat. Mesti ada ketegasan. Tak ada nak kesian-kesian dah sebab kita dah bagi tahu. Dalam kes ni mungkinlah kita kesian. I'm talking about policy regarding safety and safety and health for occupation. Okay, tak boleh kalau langgar ni, kalau kita bagi can kat sini, so orang lain pula akan tengok, oh bagi can ataupun one day bila dia pula buat salah, dia akan cakap, tu hari awak bagi can kat dia, apa pasal pula? So must be stern, mesti diikut, tegas, berlaku ketegasan. Okay, other than that, okay, must be ni regarding enforcement ni, macam mana nak pastikan awak boleh enforce, macam mana awak boleh pastikan dia faham consequence. So mesti ada education. Tadi dah sebut tadi education. So mesti ada kaitan mesti educate. Okay? Mesti bagi tahu dia, mesti dia kena faham dulu. So awak boleh enforce. And I think another one yang saya akan sebut 3 je. Maknanya orang ni kena faham, awak kena tegas. Okay? Iaitu masih dalam education ni, competency. Competent. These people, awak ni kena competent. Okay? Apa competent? Contohnya, apakah ciri-ciri definisi kemas? Awak kata tadi mesti kemas dalam masa 10 minit. So, you should be clear. The definition of kemas yang awak masukkan. Nanti dia kata, dah kemas dah. Awak nak, macam mana nak bagi nak hukum dia? So, okay. Yelah. So, awak pun dibodohkan. So, you have to really understand, you must be competent, okay, to inspect, to make observation, to make investigation. Okay, apakah bila ada when talking about engineering aspect, berlaku letupan. So, you make inspection, awak buat investigation. So, kena faham macam mana nak buat investigation. Tapi kalau orang awak minta, jom kita ambil, okay, abang kau volunteer, abang sana awak volunteer, akak awak volunteer, jom kita buat inspection. Tengok, kita buat investigation, apa punca masalah pada masalah kemalangan ni. So, it cannot just work that way. You have to make sure that these people yang menjalankan, enforcing the enforcement ni, mesti ada competency. So, in a way, the point is a system of inspection must be in place. Okay, masa ada inspection, tapi not just inspection yang kata orang yang efektif. Program inspection yang efektif. Apa nak tengok? Ada tak borang dia? Okay, and then the people yang menjalankan inspection tu mesti juga competent. Okay, the next thing is about mesti ada polisi yang sesuai. Mesti ada kaitan lah. Soalnya kalau tak, without it, dia akan jadi macam tak ada jelas lah. Tak ada jelas apa yang aku nak enforce sebenarnya. Ataupun orang, kalau tak jelas, ataupun tidak, polisi tidak tepat, tidak direct, tidak senang difahami, okay, orang boleh cari loophole. Dia akan salah gunakan. Okay, ambil kelemahan. Guna kelemahan tersebut. So, those are the kind of things. Okay, must be, okay, sorry, this is the thing saya dah terangkan tadi. So, they form a basis for effort. So, mesti ada usaha lah untuk improve working condition and the working. So, benda ni kena ada. Enforcement of policy ni, tak guna awak ada polisi tapi tak ada enforcement. And then, without this, okay, there is no such thing as to improve working condition and working environment. So kena ada enforcement. Okay. So kadang-kadang certain company, because kenapa penting ada, kenapa ada, confirm lah, so memang kalau ada polisi kena enforce lah. Because there are some people there, you will be surprised, there are some companies yang ada OSH polisi tapi dia orang tak ikut pun. Dia orang kenapa nak kena ada? Requirement nak buka company tu kena ada. Nak daftar company tu kena ada OSH polisi. Just for the sake, that sake. And then safety terabai, tak ikut pun, tak pakai pun safety harnessing, tak pakai pun topi. Tak ada orang marah pun kau, tak ada. So just want, so you want to know the reality, the current reality, and then for your future lah. Bila awak kerja nanti, I think starting at this century lah. Memang kebanyakan, I can say almost 100%, all company memang tekankan OSHA. Dalam konteks engineering lah. Memang tekankan OSHA. Awak akan surprise. If you have the opportunity to become OSH officer, dipanggil safety officer, awak akan terkejut. How kata orang, how much attention you gonna get. Sama ada attention baik ataupun tidak baik lah. Orang tak suka awak. Tapi OSH officer ni memang kena tegas. Memang tak popular. Tapi kerja dia sangat penting. Tapi dia dalam dia level engineer lah. Okay. So dia kena ada kepakaran. Ini contoh. Government of policy concerning confidentiality and health to be secured by an adequate purpose system of inspection. So inspection kena ada lah. Dan penalty. Penalty pun kena ada adequate. Penalty dia pun, saya lupa sebut tadi. Penalty dia pun kena jelas. Kena berpadanan. Tak boleh lembut sangat, tak boleh kurang teruk sangat. So bersesuaian. So biasa kita akan tengok pada refer balik legislation lah, perundangan-perundangan yang telah dibina, sistem mahkamah kita, sistem perundangan Malaysia kita ni berkaitan dengan safety pekerja, dipanggil dalam ataupun dalam ILO. Okay, so tengoklah tekan bersesuaian. Kalau tak ada, kalau macam ringan, orang akan ikut, orang akan selamba. Okay adik, tak kemas bilik ni lagi 10 minit, abang bagi gula-gula. Bagi hadiah pula kan. Abang nak bagi 10 gula-gula tapi abang bagi 2 je. Kadang bagus juga macam tu kan. Tapi dalam kes ni tak apalah kot, tak sakit pun. Okay. So itulah manusia kena agak sedikit sakit. Okay. Kalau tak bagi ni, setakat tak dapat gula-gula 10 biji gula-gula, untuk seminggu tak dapat, mungkin dia akan risau lah. Itu contoh lah. Okay. Tapi tak boleh lah kata, okay kalau adik tak kemas bilik ni, abang potong tangan. Tak sesuai lah pula kan, terlalu memang violent betul lah kan. So it's not appropriate lah. So should be at standard level. Alright. So that's it for our topic 4.2 regarding OSH policy, basic OSH policy. So again, there are 6. The one way you want to remember the list is WIPER. Okay. So workers' rights, OSH policies, information, promotion, and then enforcement of policy. Okay, enforcement of OSH policy. Itulah yang kita akan tengok. Kena ada dalam sebuah company yang mengatakan mereka ini ada OSH. Okay, and the next topic, next later on kita akan tengok legal obligation. Kat sinilah awak akan tengok OSHA. So if you want, I really encourage you to study at your own. Tengok, baca siap-siap apa yang awak nak tahu dalam legal obligation ni. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much, and please answer all the questions in your puzzle. Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and goodbye.